So we're going to check to see how the C42 onboard parachute works and will it actually save our lives. The first thing, we're going to switch the engine off. There we go, and we're going to pull the handle. 3, 2, 1. Hi guys, Shane here, Oz Flight Simmer. Welcome to another FSElite First Look video. In today's video, we are in X-Plane and we are checking out a vFlyteAir Simulation's new C42C ultralight. And I thought it would be a great place to take the C42 for a spin around the block, and why not do it at Orbex's new XP release Pearson's Field as well. If you're not familiar with the C42 aircraft, it is a fixed-wing microlight or a light sports aircraft, depending on what part of the world you are from. It first flew in 1996 and about 1,200 of them have been built so far. Approximately 69 to 77,000 in Euro dollars if you want to purchase one or buy one and make it yourself. The C42 fits a total of 2 people, and you can either pick it up in an 80 horsepower Rotax 912 engine or a 100 horsepower Rotax 912S engine. Depending on what model C42 that you purchase, the aircraft wings can fold back so you can put the aircraft into storage. They're also made by tubular steel with Kevlar wrapped around it, and you can really see the ribs within the wing. The fuselage is also made up of different composite material just to keep it light. So we've been saying all that, let's take a closer look at the vFlyteAir C42C. The team at vFlyteAir have stated that the C42 was created with actual hands-on of the aircraft. The aircraft is fully animated and has a high-res model with PBR effects inside and outside of the aircraft, and they have included HDR lighting as well. I really like the semi-transparent fabric covered over the wings and also the tail area, and when you get up really close you can really see the texture, and that it is definitely fabric on the wings. They've also included I think it's about 14 different types of liveries, which is insane to have that many liveries, but they all are quite unique, and some of the liveries were even used, or liveries of the aircraft that was actually used by the developers when making this aircraft. Also included some of the assets when you are in park, which is the pitot heat cover, the wheel chocks, and also the engine covers too. The engine sounds on the exterior are really good. The team actually claim that they've used 85 original F-mod sounds. And I would say that would be true, because this aircraft has some real unique sounds and it sounds pretty cool. And one of my favourite features of the aircraft, which I'm not sure if I'm going to use too often, is that it's included the parachute. So we will give that a try and see if it works later on in the video. All in all, I think the exterior of the aircraft has been done with high quality. It must not have been easy making aircraft with different sort of materials in mind, such as composite materials, different types of metal, and also different types of fabric used on the wingtips. So we've been saying that, I think it's time to get in the cockpit to do a quick startup and taxi and get on our way, and we'll test out how the C42 flies. Welcome to the very snug cockpit of the C42. We're just going to close the door, which is done, been animated very, very nicely, and we're going to pop out the configuration tool, or the load manager so to speak, for the aircraft. So you've got a couple of options for language. You can change to have your units in metric or in imperial, and you've got the second section is also your weight and balance, and then you've got some configuration options below, such as hiding the glass. I'm going to leave the glass on, although I do think the reflections off the glass are a bit too much, but if you take them away, it takes away some of the features of it, so I'm going to have to leave those on. Also, you can reset your pre-flight list, which I'll go through in a second. Start the aircraft in cold and dark and healthy, which is a must for me. Removing your wheel chocks and things like your pitot heats and all that sort of stuff to get ready. So pretty nifty to have that in the side pocket of the door. Some of the other menus you can find up in the dash, like this little air charts for the maps. I don't think I'm really going to use it, but I like the fact when developers actually put the menus and you put click spots in different parts of the aircraft, just as you would put different things such as charts on top of the dash as well. So that's always quite nice when they do that. On the right hand side, we've got another click spot, which is the checklist, and it's very, very in depth. So as you can see, it's asking me to do the walk around and check the engines. If I wanted to go through this, it would actually take me quite a while, but I think it's very nicely done. The only thing that sort of bothers me is you have the two different types of languages on the left and right. It would be good if you hit English and only the English versions would come up. But you know, there are only little things that I think are tedious, so nothing that's really going to affect how the aircraft is going to fly. But I'm going to put the checklist back and go quickly through the startup procedures of the C42. So the first thing is I'm going to turn on the battery. I already got the fuel flow set to on. We're going to turn on the position indicator for the lights and also turn on the navigation. We'll quickly pop on the fuel pump, and then we'll pop the mags on, and then we'll flick it over. So you can see all the different sounds of those F-mod sounds for the different clicks, and also the fuel pump. So we'll turn mag 2 and mag 1 on. And really cool thing is they've featured the different circuit breakers. So as you can see, I pop the starter, and when I push it in, nothing happens, which is very nice. So we'll pop that back in, and then we will go through and start the engine up. There we go. It took a little while to kick over, a bit different than some of the other piston aircraft. Once she gets going, she really gets going. So I'm going to let the aircraft come up to temperature, and then we are going to get ready to taxi down to the runway. So we are all warmed up, and engine is up to temperature, and everything is configured and good to go. So we've released the brakes there. We're going to make our way to taxi. One thing I forgot to mention before is we just checked the brakes there. There is a spot there to put on a headset and have the sounds adjusted as in a headset, but I'm not going to do that for this flight. I believe if you're going to fly an ultralight, you might as well hear what it actually sounds like. So she does get away from you a little bit. I've pretty much got the throttles on nothing at the moment, and it's trickling quite along and easing its way up to 30 knots, so we'll have to keep putting on the brakes. And I really like how this aircraft adjusts to the suspension. I think it works quite well. The C42 is pretty nice to taxi, so when you're turning or taxiing out left or right, it really is not overdone or anything like that. It actually works quite nicely, and yeah, like I said, it's pretty nice to taxi, and I love the sounds that go along with it all too. We have nearly made our way down to the end of the runway, so we're going to hold here. We're going to drop the flaps, configure the aircraft for our takeoff, and then we're going to get going off of a runway 8 at Pearson's. So we are good to go. We're just going to drop a 1 notch of flaps, and as you can see, it's like a little motorbike gear lever putting on the brakes and pulling down, so that's always quite interesting and a nice unique feature. So we're going to roll out here and take off. I'm going to be quiet, and I'll come back to you after we have wheels up in the air, and I'll talk to you soon. Enjoy the takeoff. There we go, that was pretty straight. The C42 likes to go down the center of the runway. It doesn't skip around like some of the other GA or light aircraft in X-Plane 11, which is nice. We're going to pop the flaps up here and we'll begin a left-hand turn. That way we don't get the flight path of the airport just in front of us there. But I really didn't need to use flaps. I sort of only had about probably 65% throttle down for that takeoff, but yeah, it's a nice aircraft to rotate up into the air. So we're just going to begin our left-hand turn. I think it's time to have a look at the aircraft as she flies in the sky, so we'll do a quick montage as we're leaving the airport, and then we'll come back and we'll see how she does in some turns and also a stall. Welcome back to the cockpit. We're going to take a closer look at the C42 internally of the cockpit, and in my opinion I think it's done with high level detail of the aircraft. As you can see, all the gauges are all 3D and modeled with quite a lot of detail, considering it is an ultralight sort of aircraft. All the gauges do actually pop out, which makes it quite VR friendly, and I have tried this aircraft in VR and it is seriously a must get if you're a VR pilot in X-Plane 11. Certain parts of the cockpit do vibrate from the engine from time to time, depending on what you're doing with the aircraft. In fact, that's what we might do. We might do some turns and stall and see how she performs. All in all, I think the cockpit is very immersive, and I think they've done a pretty good job of the inside of the aircraft. So we're going to begin a left-hand turn. We're nearly at 3,000 feet. Going to see how well I can keep it around altitude, but seems to be turning quite well. We'll grab a little wing view there and see if I can keep the mark on the same spot. And we're just about to roll out of our turn. Very, very nice. And we'll try to do it again. We'll make a right-hand turn, and we'll do the same and see how we go. And then we'll do a stall. And we'll just begin our right-hand turn. Again, we're going to try to focus on an area. And we'll just pull out just about now. There we go. We kept it around about 3,000 feet. So I think the second turn, the last turn I just did, was a lot better than the first one. So I think we're going to check out and see how she behaves in a stall. So we're just going to push the nose up, and I'm going to throttle back and see what she does. We're just under 40, starting to struggle. Struggling to keep it up. Oh, look at that wing dip. Wow, that was violent. Wow, there we go. We're just getting some speed, getting under control. That was a lot. That was way different than what I was expecting, but that was pretty cool. So we've got everything back under control. I think after that, we may make our way back to the airport. That was interesting, that stall. But yeah, she's pretty cool and a lot of fun to fly. Welcome back. We're just on our final approach into Orbex's new airport center for X-Plane, which is Pearson at runway 8. I had a lot of fun throwing the aircraft around as we descended down to the approach, but it's an interesting approach, this one. You've got a couple of bridges and also some aircraft flying around as they are landing into the airport in front of us. But I'll go through some more detail of the airport in my next video. We've got one notch of flaps down a little bit high, but just trimming the aircraft. One thing I would mention, being such a light aircraft, if you've got a little bit of crosswind, you'll really notice that on approach, because the aircraft will crab quite easy, which makes it really interesting. I've done some flights for this aircraft in some crosswind landings, and I tell you what, it was a lot of fun, and even a lot more fun in VR. So looks like we've got some sort of business jet taking off, so I'll let you enjoy the there she goes straight up like a rocket. I'll let you enjoy the approach in, and I'll come back to you shortly. Not too bad at all. That was a lot of fun. Very interesting landing. One thing I would say, being an ultralight aircraft, you probably want to make your landings long, or else you'll be taxiing for about 10 years before you need to turn off the runway. So with all saying that, let's take a quick look at the replay, and then I'll come back to you with my final thoughts of the C42 and is it value for money. So we're just going to taxi back to where we started. If you're enjoying the video so far, please hit that thumbs up, it's much appreciated. And if you're new to the FSElite YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button to see more first look videos and also reviews. You can also check out the vFlyteAir channel, where I have a weekly content with similar stuff as this video as well. You can find the vFlyteAir C42 over at the sim market for $24.15 euro. Now, do I think it's value for money? Well, the exterior of the aircraft is very good and high quality detail, and also the interior follows suit. I really love the F-mod sounds in the aircraft. They're very immersive, and also it's a lot of fun to fly. The aircraft is VR compatible, and they've also made some features available for VR, which the pop-up gauges and all that sort of stuff. I think it is a must nowadays. So all in all, I think it's great value for money, and if you are into sport aircraft or ultralight aircraft, I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this one. Now, as I find in my car parking spot, there's one feature I haven't shown you, so let's take a look at that. So we're going to check to see how the C42 onboard parachute works, and will it actually save our lives. The first thing, we're going to switch the engine off. There we go, and we're going to pull the handle. 3, 2, 1. What? Oh no, it's like a roller coaster. Lucky I had my seatbelt on. That's absolutely insane. Well, I think it would be safe to say it's modeled and working well. With been saying that, thank you very much for watching the video. My name is Shane, FSElite. I'll see you on the next video. Cheers, goodbye.